If you've ever tried to film yourself on a tripod, you know the drill. You hit the record button, you run into the frame, you try to look normal, hope it's framed correctly, hope it's all in focus, and then you run back to the camera and check everything, and you repeat that process 5 more times until you get it right. And this is the type of problem that new gimbals are trying to solve. This video is sponsored by Hohem, and they sent over their new iSteady MT3 Pro, which is a camera gimbal with built-in tracking that can follow you or other objects and subjects automatically. And beyond the tracking, there is one feature here that is a standout that no other gimbal on the market that I've tested has. So the question at the end of this is there enough here to convince you to add this gimbal to your kit? At first glance, this looks like a typical gimbal. Payload capacity is a respectable 2.5 kilos, which is 5.5 pounds, which is enough for any of the full frame camera setups I would personally run. Now, if you are running some massive telephoto cine lens setup, that might be pushing it, but for most people, the payload capacity is more than enough. The new stabilization setup here offers 40% more motor strength compared to the previous models, which is a significant jump. Now let's talk about the headline feature, which is that tracking. With the MT3 Pro, you can track humans, pets, vehicles, and even objects like a building, for example. Inside there is a 2-megapixel camera along with a model that is trained on a huge number of subjects, and that makes it different than the other gimbals out there that can only track faces. You can activate this tracking 3 different ways. First, by double tapping on the screen and highlighting your subject. Second, by using a gesture while in the frame, or by using the button controls. And once it's set up, the gimbal becomes your camera operator. You can place it somewhere, start recording, and it will follow you and keep you in frame as you move around. Now, one of the biggest things that was missing from a lot of these tracking systems in the past was framing. With this Hohem, you can easily reframe your shot and the gimbal will maintain that framing as you move around. And the best part is that it can all be done hands-free with gestures. But Hohem has taken this a step further because this gimbal includes a detachable touchscreen remote. On the remote, you get a live feed of what the camera sees, and you can adjust settings and start and stop recording without touching the gimbal itself. That means you can use this gimbal for low angle shots, for overhead shots, for slider shots, or for tripod setups, and control it all from up to 10 meters away. Not only that, but this remote can be attached here at the top of the briefcase handle, which solves the biggest problem with gimbals since the beginning of gimbals being in existence, and that is the arms always seem to block the screen. That's not the case here. The only thing I wish that this mount had was an angle adjustment, but as it sits now, it's at an angle that makes sense for a majority of shots. After testing Hohem's original gimbals from years ago, I can confidently say that this one is the smoothest one that they have released so far. And if you are a creator who makes videos for doom scrollers on Instagram and TikTok, this MT3 Pro has Hohem's 2nd generation fast vertical switch. All you have to do is slide this bracket off and slide it back on like this, and a rebalance in most cases is not necessary. But for optimum performance, you might want to make some small adjustments. Either way, switching formats is much easier than on previous Hohem gimbals. If you go for the MT3 Pro kit, there are a few extra tools that make this system even more flexible. One of these things is the Spot Mini motor, which attaches to a lens and gives you control over focus or zoom directly from the gimbal. The motor itself is tiny and weighs only 90 grams, and the speed can be adjusted in 3 different levels. So if you want to pull off some smooth rack focus shots, you can. And even this handle is bi-directional, so you can detach it here and attach it just like this if you want to give your arms a little break if you are running around with this gimbal all day. And you can run around with it all day because the battery life is a staggering 20 hours, and yet the entire gimbal is only 2.36 pounds, making it one of the lightest gimbals of this size on the market, and the entire thing packs away in a very nicely padded and organized carrying case. So taking it with you is easy. You aren't carrying around one of those giant foam blocks that most gimbals ship with. Looking at this gimbal, I am impressed with how much Hohem has improved over the years. You can tell that they have taken feedback from their customers and applied it to their newer releases. Things like Teflon coatings on the arms for easier balancing, or the fine tuning knob that we see right here on the top plate, or the Arca Swiss plate mount. These are all usability improvements we usually see on more expensive systems like the DJI Ronin lineup, and now they are showing up here. There's even a little RGB fill light built in at the very top. They really didn't hold back anything. They threw everything into this gimbal. Now, some of you may not want or need all of that, and in that case, the iSteady MT3 Non-Pro has you covered, which is a lighter 1.4 kilogram payload version that still has AI tracking for humans, but it drops some of the more advanced features, and it comes in at a lower price. Overall, this is an impressive release from Hohem. When you look at the specs, it competes directly with the DJI RS4 Mini while offering a heavier payload capacity, 7 more hours of battery life, and more AI tracking subjects, and a detachable live feed remote, which definitely gives you something to think about. If you want to check out the Hohem iSteady MT3 Pro or the MT3, I'll have links down in the description along with any discount codes that they provide to me. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. And as usual, thank you guys so much for watching. Stay tuned for more and have a nice day. Bye-bye.